Good afternoon, potato chips. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the shuck, and I have got an exciting review to do, and it's the final thoughts on these two knives, as in use, what I think of them ergonomically, what I think of them with the materials, and to dispel a myth that, yes, Paddy, I get these given to me by Ben to do reviews on and to promote, and I promote them because I want to promote them. Just never mind friendships, nothing like that there. I mean, I've known Ben on the internet, and I really class him one of my internet friends. And I've enjoyed the ride that I've been able to join in with on this knife here. And this is the Jack Wolf Knives dog leg. It's just beautiful. The K9, which is called, but it's a dog leg pattern. I'll turn these round this way so you can see the patterns of these two knives. Now, these two knives are high-end knives they're not for everybody. One, because the price can be a bit prohibitive, but a price is what it is, and these two knives are selling. They're obviously, try look for a bad review on them. That's what I'm going to say on both these knives. Now, I'm putting this K9 Jack Wolf Knives, which is a new brand with a new person, albeit he has he's had a long ride in the knife collecting business, but he designed this himself from an older pattern, and I'm just going to show you an older pattern just so you know. There's a GEC dog leg. Now, I'm going to put that in the center there. You can see the dog leg a bit better. It's a dog leg pattern. It's not, if you can see what Ben has done, he's exaggerated that pattern. He's put a fatter spear in it. So it's not just a dog leg. Most dog legs look like this. This is a pattern that's been enhanced by Ben, and I believe it has been enhanced by Ben. This is from Enrique Pena, who I hold in the highest esteem, especially the slip joints that he makes. Especially the slip joints, because he has got it. He's got a modern slip joint with modern blade material, as has this. But I want to go through it just slowly, step by step, so that you know. Now, this is mine now. I didn't actually buy, I traded something for the same value of this for this, because I wanted to have this as a comparison to Ben's knives. And that's as simple as that. So that's my money in here. My money. Nobody else's, just mine. This is Ben's knife that I'm reviewing. I'm also going to review this one too, because I've had the both of them now for long enough where I can do a full review and be honest in what I think of the knives. Let's just start simply. And I bought this because I wanted people to give credibility to the review I give to this. Yeah, I wanted something that was on par with price-wise, looks, materials, and I'm going to run through the looks. The looks of these two knives are both beautiful. I love this blade shape. I genuinely love it. And that's why I got it, because Ben hasn't got one in this blade shape. So I wanted something completely different, but on a par with fit and finish as this. So I see it. First of all, the Jack Wolf knives. Let's just have a look at this and we'll go through the looks of it. I think this looks fantastic. And to be honest, if you're looking for something in your collection that's going to stand out, it's very, very difficult in the knife world to find something that is distinctive, that is comfortable in hand. We'll get back to that in a minute. But looks, it has to look. When I'm paying a lot more money, I want something to look just that little bit different than the rest of my knives. Because if I could buy this at £30, do you know what I mean? You would. But to buy this now, I just find it so attractive. It is so attractive. When I look at it, when I touch it, the first thing you do with a knife is you get it. I touch it and I'll go to what's that feel like? And this is like touching your thumb and your forefinger, two thumbs. Yeah, that's Paddy. The blade, I look at the grind on that blade, at how expertly them grind lines have been left in. Completely vertical, just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I love the fat spear. It's one of my favourite blade shapes that there is. But this is sharp. I like this because it's sharp. And when I do the comparison to the Pena, when you look straight down in that looks sharp. just cut exactly. It looks like it's been, the jelly mold's been put down here, and this is completely sharp. This looks softer because of the way that it's done, and there's no right or wrong here. This looks every bit as attractive as this, to me. The only difference between this and this in the looks wise is I love this carbon fiber with the red in it. It really does just add that little bit special, because you don't see it all the time in the rest of your knives. So the fat carbon fiber I really like. It adds to the looks. I love the fat spear. I love this for detailed work. So I'm not really going to compare which blade's better, because no matter what job you're doing, every blade has its sort of expert it has its function, has a proper function for that blade shape. So I'm not going to get too stuck on the shapes of the blades. I just want to do it as in looks. This looks beautiful. It's slim. It's got that perfect form. You know when you're going to pick that up, it's going to look comfortable, or it's going to feel comfortable. And it looks absolutely stunning. This, to me, looks different. And it's, I suppose, this hasn't sold out completely yet. And it's the first one that hasn't really, hit the market. Now, there's very few left. So don't hesitate. Fry more knives, go and buy one. I think they have a couple left now in the Micarta scales. This is just, I can't separate them in looks, as in when you're looking down, you tend to look at the materials of blades, but shape, just that shape. It does it for me. It really, really does it for me. So when these were up against each other, this would win for shape. This would win for the look, that it looks comfortable. But we'll get back to that when they put them together. Too beautiful. Now, the parts. What parts are they? M390, K390, which apparently will hold the edge longer than this will do. Fair enough. No problem there. Titanium and marble carbon fiber. Beautiful. Titanium. Dark matter carbon fiber. That sways it for me. And I know it's just aesthetic, but it does it for me. The shape of the handles, the looks of the handles, I like this. I have lots of knives that are this shape. I don't have many that are this shape. In fact, I don't have any that are this shape. That is the most beautiful dogleg I have ever seen. Now, that might just be the traditionalist in me, whereas this isn't a traditional shape, and this is an interpretation of a traditional shape, the dogleg pattern, which has been around for a long, long time. This is the nicest one I've ever seen. So my eye is drawn to this immediately because of that shape, and it looks different than the other things I have in my collection. I've showed you my GEC dogleg. It's lovely, but it doesn't have that extra swoop that this one does. So parts, there's nothing between them. Do you know, I'm never going to know which one's going to last the longest ever, because I'm not going to test it for that long. I have no need to. These two blade steels, and they're coming from people who you can trust that they're going to have a good blade steel. So that's nice. So comfort. I think automatically you would go, this is going to be comfortable because it's completely straight. And we all know that when you've got a straight line, you put your hand around it, it's comfortable. And rightly so, because it is comfortable. And it's incredibly comfortable. And these are the knives, because they're UK legal, you can always get your finger to the ends of blades for detailed work. Beautiful. So I've got a function for that in my life as a knife user. Love it. Comfort is just, look, Pena is a genius. And he has made an incredibly simple, it's a simple form, but done incredibly well. And, it's really is, the hafting on it is just beautiful. Incredibly smooth. Beautiful knife. So how does it compare to the Jack Wolf knives? This is sharper. We've already discussed that. This is sharper. It's not going to cut you, but it's sharper to feel. So is it going to feel as comfortable? It's got a weird handle to most people, because most people who are coming into this slip joint craze at the minute have never tried a dog leg. So I can understand why people are maybe a little bit slower in wanting to step out to that. Well, will that be ergonomic? It's a lot of money. Will that be ergonomic? Go back and look at the other videos of the reviewers who have had this and tell me somebody who didn't find it ergonomic. Do you know what I mean? This sits in my hand, right? And when you fold your hand over that, it is so comfortable. forget about the edges because you don't feel them. It molds into your hand. It is incredibly comfortable. And with this swollen end, it really just envelops you into there and gives you that real sense of safety. Now, this is no different. This feels really comfortable, but this actually feels more comfortable. Once you get that in your hand and you're folded around this bulbous end, you feel as if, if you're pulling out of something, it's not going to come out of your hand. It just feels so comfortable. This does feel rounded compared to this. I'm not going to lie, it does. It feels more rounded, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be any more comfortable. It's just a feeling. This does not, there's no hot spots. There's no hot spots in this, and I've used it quite a lot. It's just stunning. There's nothing in here. It reminds me of the Tony Bowes, keep everything round. Keep everything soft and round. This angle here doesn't come into this knife at all, in my opinion, because once it's in your hand, you're coming around there and there's nothing to stop it. So we've had looks. The parts are virtually identical, as in how it's made up. The walk and talk is beautiful. The walk and talk is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, this is made by Riyadh. We don't know who the Chinese OEM is for this. But if you were to sort of ask me just on using them and, using the mechanism, there's no difference in my opinion. The mechanism on both these is fantastic. It would please any slip joint lover. Absolutely. The other thing that I'm going to say, no, I'll leave that to later. So we've gone through the looks of them. The parts are all virtually identical. Different finishes now, the titanium. The comfort, they're both every bit as comfortable in the hands. This especially because this shocks you when you put it in your hand, how comfortable it is. This you expect. So, if you're going to buy this for a comfortable hold, you're going to have to take the word or get one in your hand. And if you can get one in your hand, it'll dispel any thoughts at all. But the originality of this one is the shape and the exaggerated dogleg shape with a big fat spear point. Just super. Absolutely super. In use, there is a slight difference in the use of these knives. This is K390, M390. Can't tell the difference between the two. Just can't. They both get a super edge on them. They're super sharp. Now, the Jack Wolf knives is much thinner behind the edge than this is. When I say much, it's noticeably different behind the edge. And because you've got that full hollow grind from bottom right up to the top, there is a difference in this. This is a hollow grind, but it's not as shallow as this. So slicing, this is much better. This, probably in the tougher type of work, might then excel in itself. But for this, I mean, this to me is a slicing machine. This is not far behind it, but this does have it beat, without a shadow of a doubt. You can notice a different slicing with these two blades. Now, the other thing that I want to say before I go anywhere, I'm not pitching Ben against Pena knives. I bought this because I knew it was high-end, in that price bracket. I knew it was high-end, and I just didn't have anything that I could compare of my own collection with this type of a knife. I now have, and that's the joy. Pena is a genius, and he has proved it over and over in locking knives, folding knives, the lot. He has proved it. Ben's the new boy on the block, but they're actually friends, and that's what knives. Pena has helped Ben in his process of getting this knife to market. So these are not against either two of these knives. All I'm saying is the facts. This blade has got a nicer hollow grind, in my opinion, and feels nicer sliding. This is about 8 to 10 thousandths behind the edge. I haven't even measured that, but I know it's not as thin as that. But it's good. They're both really good. I'm picking hairs now. And when you're paying this much money for either of these two knives, it's hair's difference. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be, is hair's difference in them. All I want to know is, can this stand up to this at the end of my review? And I'm going to be really honest on there. So in use, you can't really tell the difference. If you're just doing a normal cut, slicing, this is going to be a bit better. I think I would use this more because it's got a sturdier point on it than, although to be honest with you, I'm saying that, look, there's not that much difference in the points. So they're very, very close in a lot of ways. Very close. Even, as I'm doing this review, they're very, very close. So in use, two beautiful knives to use. You're not going to have a hot spot. You're not going to feel uncomfortable in your hand. And also in the reverse grip. Now, this is where the dog leg, I think, does it for me. Because when I'm reverse gripping, not that I'm not a carpenter or anything else, but you see peeling something, peeling an apple, you see because of this ergonomic grip in your hand, it makes a huge difference. This for doing, a bit of carving, even if you want to do on a bit of softwood, basswood, if you wanted to do just, I don't have to use the rest of my hand. This motion just lets me cut. It just makes you do that. Now, when you hold this in your hand, it's nowhere near as comfortable. And that's the truth, but I mean, what I'm saying is this for doing, cutting of apples or slicing something, this I think is much more comfortable. It feels much safer in my hand. Again, this blade shape is a bit different, and I would be doing more power cuts with this or detailed hard cuts with this. So we're just comparing it that way. But as a slicer of an apple peeler, it's an expensive apple peeler, but it has that motion because I feel so comfortable with it in my hand. So there we go. A little difference between that and that. Right. Final thoughts, because I don't want to drag this out. Do I think either of these two knives are worth the value to you if you bought them? Yes, they both do. Enrique, if you're buying knives in this bracket, you've probably handled a Pena and you know how good his knives are. Well, for Ben's first attempt at coming into this type of a market, well, it's his first attempt in design and bringing a knife to market. I just can't tell you how advanced he is as a newcomer on the block. This knife is so difficult to find fault with that I just don't find fault. Everything about it, fit and finish, everything. The fit and finish is so up to the same par as a Pena. Absolutely fit and finish. They're both immaculate knives. The only difference that I can honestly say, and I mean this honestly, is blade shape. Would you rather have a traditional, the dog leg? This is just a straight knife, a comfortable knife in use. So is this now. But the difference between them is just, do you want a Pena in your collection? Or do you want the Jack Wolf knives? Well, I want both, and I've got both, and I feel blessed to have both. I think Ben, as coming in as a new designer, he has just stepped up, and it's probably because of his own experiences and people like Pena who give time to him that he has managed to get something to market, and a run of knives, one a month for about a year. That is an enormous amount of faith in your own talent to do that, as much as Pena's talent has been gathered over years and years. But to step in at this height, I just find is mind-boggling. I know he doesn't make the knives, but you have to design the design of something. Like designing a house will make the house look good in the end when somebody makes it. So that to me is the thing. This, in his designs that he's got in all his Jack Wolf knives so far, I haven't unliked any of them. And I can't find fault. As much as this Pena, I cannot find fault with this. This is his style. The smooth, the ergonomically just beautiful. Ben stepped a wee bit out of that realm into the sharp looking. It's finished sharply. But you have to get that so right as you do get it right in that sort of ergonomic field. This to me is a traditional knife lovers step in from traditional up into the modern traditional. It's a huge step for traditional lovers to go out of their comfort zone, but this is stuck to an original design. It's been enhanced better than I could ever have thought. This is the one I was worried about. What's it going to like when I hold it in my hand? Because, the normal dog leg is nowhere near as severe. Nowhere near as severe. And this is the one that I like the best out of them all. I thought the last one, I couldn't like anything better. This, to me, is the best one so far. Now, I know everybody's thoughts are going to be different, and that's fine. But if you're someone who likes a Pena, and I think that's what I'm going to say, because this man is the star. Pena is the star. Jack Wolf Knives and Ben himself is the upcoming one. But my gosh, what a great venture. And how exciting is it going to see these two boys who will make two different styles of knives in their own vision. They're not competing against each other. It's just another option. And, you know, they're just gonna excite. I just think these two, as far as slip joints goes, I think they're gonna blow the rest of the field away, because they're just exciting to me. They're exciting. They're doing different blade shapes. This is just, it gives the faux bolster look. This just goes back to the old jackknife, a dog leg. Beautiful. This is more modern than this, but, I prefer the traditional look of it than I do this functional look. I think this is a very functional knife, but I know Pena does all sorts of other knives. I just didn't want to get one that was going to conflict with the Jack Wolf knives. So for me, the final thoughts are these two. If you want to step up with that high market of a knife that's going to be something you can pass down, these knives and the blade steels that's in them, you can pass this down to your kids. You can just have it in your collection. And I believe in years' time, the price is going to go up rather than down, because they're just fantastic knives. And that's the bottom dollar. They're not out of the way over the top from a traditional slip joint, but they are a very modern interpretation of one. And that's where I am. And I like that both in my collection, where I have modern, traditional. And you have to separate them. This is modern. It's not a traditional. This is traditional, pinned. You can't get into it. This is screwed together, but you're not advised to go into it, because slip joints, you don't need to. Just wash them out. They're tight tolerances of the knives, so you don't need to. You should never need to take it apart. So I'm going to put these two knives this way for you. And my final thoughts are, if you're worried about the handle shape of this, please let me tell you, and go back and look at other videos. I mean, when you're spending this amount of money, maybe for the first time you're spending that amount of money, I honestly, if you can't get one in hand, I think it's worth jumping, because I think it's a smashing knife. Pena is I suppose at the minute, the safe bet, because he has been about and he has proved he has nothing to prove. His knives are immaculate. They're made by Riot. Beautiful. I think this competes. I genuinely believe this competes. And more, if you don't want to get away from that traditional look, this has a traditional blade shape, as of all Ben's knives. I'm not sure whether Pena does. I think he maybe does that as well. But again, I don't believe they're direct competitors. You're just going on design. And these two boys have design down to the T. Absolutely down to the T. I mean, I'm as excited for this knife as I am for this knife in my collection, because I've always wanted a Pena. I hadn't really taken that big jump in the slip joint market. So I've done it, and I've done it, and I'm glad I've done it. And I think you should be glad too, because this is these are both knives. They're new to my collection. I've just done full reviews on them. Can I separate them? Not really, to be honest with you. They're so well done. Both knives are so well done, and it's taste. These are sharp looking. Now, whether in the next iteration of Ben's, just imaginative eye, he might soften it up and have this sort of one the next time. And maybe Pena will have a go at doing this. But what I love is you've got at least two that I know now that, by gosh, you see having them in hand and having them in your collection, lifts my spirits. I love them. And I love this. So I can't really separate them in their looks, their materials, their design. They're all great. This is great. Two great options for you to get. This, I mean, I know there's quite a lot of these out here. Don't forget, there's only, in the small hundreds of these that will be made, and then Ben moves on to the next one. Don't miss out. If you're worried about this, do not worry about this. Ergonomically, it's amazing. It's amazing, as is this. But this shape, don't let it worry you. And it's something different to have than, the This is not run of the mill by any means. It's not run of the mill. But this, these two knives, either one, are just fantastic knives. I'm plugging this one because I'm getting this given to me to plug it. But let me tell you, I've had no problem. I have no problem telling anybody, if you want to step up or if you just want to buy what, in the price range you're used to, you can't go wrong with this, and you can't go wrong with this. I can't, I don't want to make a difference between the two of them. You're going for the name here, you're going for the new boy on the block with maybe different designs. Two fantastic knives. I'm glad to have them both in my collection. And my point here is, the only thing that I want to say is, don't be frightened by Ben's designs. He's an expert knife user, collector. He's not coming from a blind alley into knife making. And, trust him. He's a man I trust. And I trusted from, not long after I knew him, because he has completed and said everything that he'd done before these knives became a twinkle in his eye. He has just fulfilled fully. So trust. Everybody that knows Pena will trust him. I trust Ben every bit as much, and I think he has got a great competition for Pena that I know a man like Pena is not going to be worried about. He'll enjoy the competition. And I think the two of these, I think we could see some real just exciting things for the future for slip joints. So there you go. I'm not sure how that came across, because I don't do notes. I don't do writing down everything and do the specs. Mine is in my hand, what it feels like to use. Yes, I'll throw the odd spec in there, but I'm excited to have both these in my collection. But, I'm promoting this one at the minute. I could quite happily promote that one. Absolutely. And that's why I've got these two together, because I just want you to know this is where I'm at. This is the standard that Ben has come to in his first run at the knife world. And I just think it's fantastic. And I know Enrique and him are friends, and they speak. Just well done, both of you. I think these knives that you're now bringing out are the knives of the future. But I think slip joints are they're going to become a bigger part of our future. Now, I know the traditional side of it is maybe, you've got our diehards that love our traditionals. But as far as modern slip joints, I think these two boys are going to give us such an exciting future. And I, for one, as a knife lover and a knife user and a knife collector, I cannot wait. How lucky are we to be born in this generation with this sort of offerings from an existing, well-trodden knife maker who's still making knives that excite anybody who's in the knife world. And then Ben, who's coming along in his footsteps behind him. The footsteps are getting closer and closer, because the difference in these is literally just, it's a visual thing, I think. Because when you put both in your hand, they'll not disappoint you. So, there we go. These are still available, Fraymar knives. I'm not sure the Pena Apache. I'm not sure where it is available. You just have to look around the main dealers. Most of them all sell them, although they're mostly all sold out now. So I know I'm not giving you a bad, I suppose. No, it's not, because you can buy them on the secondary market. These sort of knives are going to be about for years. And whether you buy them brand new at that price that they bring out, or you get them secondary, you're not going to go wrong. These knives are heirloom pieces. They'll last 2 lifetimes. Do you know what I mean? They'll last 2 lifetimes. So there you go. 2 beautiful knives. Thanks for listening. Paddy's gone. Lovely. Ben, thank you very much for yours. Enrique, I don't know you, but your knife is fantastic. So there you go. I've got another maker I'm going to buy more knives from. Take care. Bye-bye now.